the Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra-biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
Shalom, shalom. Come on in.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel.
Shalom.
721 BC. The Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape, we went to the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be.
That's who we be.
Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Alta Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, the highest gathering Israel.
That's right. The Most High is gathering Israel. I'm Elder Ricard, the Gathering of Christ Church, here with our weekly podcast or broadcast, whichever one you would like to call it. We were actually coming before the world every Wednesday, believe it or not, started out on Skype in the United States before there was any such place as YouTube. Wednesday seemed to be the midweek, getting over the hump knowledge night, right? In between Sabbaths. And it's been going that way since the beginning of this ministry. We first started off on Skype, actually, with 35 members. 35 people calling in, about 20, 35 people. And that began to grow to a degree where, it couldn't handle so many. And then they began to change Skype altogether. At one point, Skype didn't drop, you name it, conferences, whatever you wanted to do, you could do it all in Skype. I don't know if you remember those days, 2008, 2009. A little after that, we went to Justin TV. And like a flash in a pan, Justin TV was a thing where it came, one of the original streaming platforms. And we did the same thing. Sabbath, we would upload on YouTube when YouTube came. And on Wednesdays, they could find us on Justin TV also, right? Interviews, you name it. From Justin TV to Ustream, all the way to where we are now. Now that YouTube is allowing streaming, of course, we've moved everything here on Wednesday nights. And I'd like to thank you all for your participation, carving out some of your time during the week to share in the word with the Gathering of Christ Church. And for those who are fairly new, I'm Elder Ricard of the Gathering of Christ Church. Now, this is a big broadcast tonight. Of course, I apologize for being a little tardy. Wanted to make sure all my ducks was in the row, all the knowledge, the information, everything was lined up so that we can roll this out without a hitch, okay? Without any bumps, okay? And our topic today, as you can see, that's right, Luciferian weapons against mankind. Luciferian's weapons against mankind. Make sure you share this with your family, all those you know. Folks, what once used to be conspiracy has been founded out to be Bible prophecy. And let me tell you, folks, don't let nobody shame you or try to dismiss you by claiming when you're bringing something outside of their program and some truth that can help them. Don't let people shame you into shaming you by using the word conspiracy. Okay? If anyone wants to talk about conspiracy, I would march them through the pages of the Bible straight to Psalms the 83rd chapter. How all the nations in the earth have conspired against us. So unless you want to talk about that conspiracy, I don't want to hear it. Okay? We're not subjected to your mind control, and you're not going to shut us down by calling names. And so many of our people are afraid of being what? Outcast. They are afraid to be called names. You know what? We relish that because Christ didn't care about any of that. He spoke the truth, whether people heard it or rejected it. Whether you hear or forbear, it doesn't make a difference. You cannot shame or name call us off what? The tower. We're going to blow the trumpet. Okay? Now, so let's get ready. Hit that like button, folks, because under the cover of night, they unsubscribe people. They take subscribers from us. All right? And all of that. We're on the shadow ban. Even though YouTube is a platform, when they went to YouTube Premium, they really, in essence, separated YouTube into different components according to the algorithm. All right. It's like putting people that they don't like or doesn't go with the status quo in some type of purgatory, separated from the rest of their community. So even though it's YouTube in name, those that they're trying to shun or keep down, let me tell you, they're doing everything to shadow ban and keep us from actually bringing forth this word. Even though we don't hate anyone, we include all people, right? Everything we bring, we back up with empirical facts, right? Even though we don't. Now, of course, if we met the stereotypical image of a radical Israelite that hate people, of course, they wouldn't mind referring us to everyone. But because we're Israelites but know the truth in Christ, they fear what we're talking about going mainstream. So it's upon you to share it, like it, subscribe. It's upon you to share it with your families and others. Let them know the truth is here. Jump on it while you still can get it, because eventually you know where it all goes. Up in smoke. Speaking of up in smoke, what's going on down in Maui? Right? There's a lot of conversation about, suspicious behavior, but I digress on that. All right? I'm not going to go into that in particular. I'm going to drop some science tonight, literally. And I'm going to allow those who have an ear to hear. And in order for you to understand what's going on, all you have to do tonight is to listen to this broadcast and connect the dots. Of course, they made it in a way in which you got to almost speak in code on these sites and still keep a channel. But those who have an ear, let them hear. Think about everything that's going on in the news and use tonight's broadcast to connect the dots. All right. Now, before I go in, let me first give an announcement. Okay. Of course, we're coming into the last week of our Hebrew and Bible Academy, and I'm very grateful for all the brothers and sisters who have participated. You have made the Academy a grand success, and I thank you. It couldn't be what it is without your participation and your interactions. And we're going to have more interactions. We're going to have more phone calls, blog talk phone calls in the midst of it, more Zoom and more guests for the next academy. So I hope you will all be involved. We're going to do something a little different this time because we've tried everything, and we're going to try something a little bit more different. We're going to make this a 12-week Hebrew and Bible Academy boot camp. Okay. Now, boot camp in a sense, because what we're going to be breaking down is spirituality one-on-one. How to go into the Bible and apply it spiritually to your everyday lives. Along with our lessons, we're going to be bringing spiritual aptitude. And I hope you all will be a part of it, okay? Here's a few of the lessons, the titles that Elder Lawyer and I will dive into. Of course, we have the news with Elder Shapat, but here's a few of the subjects that you academites, my brothers and sisters, Jews and Gentiles alike, can look forward to. Number one, a man's purpose. God's wisdom intended for man. I don't know if any of you can recognize this, folks, but man, or what they are coding it, patriarchy, have been under attack since the beginning, since the creation of man. Okay, they're hiding the fact that we're living in a man-hating world under the word patriarchy. But patriarchy is a good thing, especially when you understand that you're from the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 tribes. So they try to make everything man negative, okay? People can choose what they want to do, but they try to what you would call circle the wagons against man, because they understand man is the image of God who was born, made in the earth to defeat the works of darkness. We are the image of God, and we will judge angels. Hence the reason these Luciferians hate the image of man. So we have to understand who the enemy uses. And I'm going to talk about that, but we're going to more so go into God's wisdom intended for man. What are we here for? What did God send us here for? Because we've minimized our purpose to strictly seek out a person, right? What they would call a soulmate, find a person and live happily ever after. No. We were here, we were born to serve God. And we're going to jump into that. God's wisdom intended for man. And we have to understand what a man is and why they have aligned everything against man. A feminine man or an effeminate man, the Bible speaks about that. These are they, all in all, we all understand the morality of the Bible. An effeminate man is not what God intended. So that in of itself are those who are aligned against the image of God. Then we have women who may hate men and turn to other women. They're also aligned to hate the patriarchy or man. Everything is aimed towards hating man. It must be something behind it. And I'm going to talk about it in this academy. Man's purpose. God's wisdom intended for man. Okay? A man isn't soft. A man isn't feminine. All of these can be utilized as social weapons against the image of God, and that's man. And no longer should we capitulate or apologize for being a man. Don't let people shame you into claiming you're not emotionally intelligent and all this stuff. No, there's no such thing as a soft man. Okay? You can be caring. The Most High God is caring, but he's also a God of wrath. So we're going to be talking about that, how they're trying to actually extinguish or put out the fire in man. And I'm going to talk about this. Guess what? We don't have to be disrespectful, rude, condescending, but guess what? We can still be men. And I'm going to talk about that in this academy. That's going to be a great, great lesson. Man's purpose, God's wisdom intended for man. Next, 2. A new lesson we're going to go into, and I know you sisters are going to appreciate this. The purpose of a woman the Holy Spirit. And how we're going to break this down is we're going to break this down from the curses of Adam and Eve to the blessings of Abraham and Sarah. We need to stop harping on how cursed we are and achieve the blessings or the example of the blessings that came through Abram and Sarah. Right? So what good is just talking about what's wrong without showing what? The inverse, the answer to it all. If we're talking about we're the children of Israel who have come out of the curse, then we have to also talk about how to come out of the curse, which was the first marriage. What is the example that the Most High intended for Adam and Eve? We're going to talk about that. The purpose of a woman, the Holy Spirit. Because a lot of people think that, let me tell you, the Holy Spirit is totally non-offensive. She, that's right, she is conversant with God. She's nurturing, caring. And you want to talk about a spirit of effeminate, which is the Holy Spirit, that have full power, but never operates in masculinity? That's the Holy Spirit. Some people think that in order for women, some women think that in order to be powerful, you must operate in the spirit of a man or masculine. Well, no, you lose your power stepping outside of femininity. That's like the Holy Spirit trying to operate in the position of God. No, she's conversant with God. She's compatible with God. She's obedient to God. And through that, she has her power. And by extension, she utilizes his power. So we're going to talk about that. It's going to be powerful, resonating in the next academy. I almost have chills even talking about it. I almost have chills even going through this. Because this world have made our people believe that we have to become the opposite of who God made us to exude power. No. If a man is 100% man and a woman is 100% woman, we both together can defeat the enemy. And that's what it's about. Not seeking to tear each other down and seeking to get one up over another or defeat one another. How can we use our full power, a man as a man and a woman in her femininity, as God intended, to work together against the enemy? I'm going to talk about that. All right. And another lesson, I can't wait to go into this, how to apply the law of Moses through Christ. Because I think there's a big conflict or chasm on how to actually operate as an Israelite. Okay. Is it more cultural? Is it what we put on? What laws should we follow? What laws that we have grace from? When can grace be applied? I think when most people convert or understand their Israel, they begin to lose themselves. Why? Because as a Christian, you understood the rules, right? Even though these rules were pagan, you understood the rules. You understood the rules according to your church. You understood the morality codes which were in place. You understood what sin was according to being a Christian or what have you. But then you come into the truth, and there's all these different perspectives of all these different Israelites, including even European converts under Judaism. How do we follow the law and be right in the eyes of God? So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how to apply the law of Moses through Christ. Because people got it twisted. People believe that we have to follow Christ through Moses. They're backward. Moses followed Christ. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to go into that and more. Okay. I'm going to go into what is a Pharisee, what is a scribe. How can someone always tell you what you're doing wrong? Right? They're trying to pull the little mote out of your eye when there's a tree stump hanging out of their head. They're so busy trying to get the upper ground on how much knowledge they know according to God's law. They've missed Christ. They have missed Christ. You can follow every law to the letter. And still, if you don't follow Christ, you're not making it into the kingdom of heaven. So there's a higher law that we're going to go into. The application of the law, how to filter Moses' law through Christ. That's the only way to make it. I'm going to talk about that. And the last but not least, I'm going to take that hell lesson to the next level. The judgment for rebellion. We're going into all of the scriptures concerning the judgment of hell, even before the New Testament. And we're going to also go into, you got it, the original Testament of Solomon, as well as the Apocalypse of Paul. All of this research to give brothers and sisters an insight to win souls into the dark side permanently. Hades, the underworld. We're going to teach this like you've never heard it before. All of the extra biblical text, as well as the Old Testament. That's right. We're going to talk about this. The judgment for rebellion. The pits of hell. We're going to show you what happens to the souls who cross over into hell, and what happens to their soul while they're waiting for the final judgment, and then what happens when Satan and his angels who are bound during Christ, there's going to be 1,000 years in which they'll be there with the souls they have led into hell. That and more in the next academy. I hope you can join us, folks. Right now, the academy is a gift from the Almighty. Is nothing like it in the earth when it comes to news, the perspectives, the Hebrew, and as well as high-level lessons that you've never received on earth. We guarantee it. Go to historytimes.org. We've never gone up in price, and this thing has been well over 10 years. And we've never, even though our production have cost more, it costs us more to stream, we've never went up 1 cent since the first time we did the academy. Okay? It's quite inexpensive. So please be a part of it because it helps us expand the work and get to more people. And that's right. It brings your biblical acumen. It takes you to the next level in understanding the true narrative according to God's Bible, according to Ahiah's Bible. historytimes.org. Thank you. Right? So we have a lot to look forward to. Okay? So historytimes.org. We're diving in like you've never seen before. You want to be a part of this academy. Okay? It starts in a couple of weeks. Now, send your email, get your welcome packet, and let's dive in. Next, last but not least, we thought we were going to have a small little baptism over in D.C., the D.C. area, right? It was upward about, 10 to 12 people initially? This coming Friday will be the largest baptism to date from the Gathering of Christ Church. We're talking about over 250 people and counting will converge on the water. We'll be near the beach early in the morning where the angels go and trouble the waters. And we're going to pray with our brothers and sisters. I hope to have some photographers there and let them. I want to keep these moments. Okay. Hundreds and hundreds of people, folks, going to be there being baptized, getting baptized in the Most High's true name. Ahiah Bahashim Yeshaya Wa Rawah. Elder Lawyer and I will have our mitris on, all white, in the water. And we ask the Most High to bring forth the spirit of calm, to hedge his elect, and guide us through this trouble that's about to come through this earth. And if it be his will, send forth the Holy Spirit to guide those in this church all the way to Zion. And what we're hoping in this is a unification of the faith. Also, in the 7th month, a time of atonement when we dwell in booths, and that we can one day experience what the disciples experienced on first fruits, when that Holy Spirit came down on them and there was no division, no variances, no negative, one spirit of holiness to be utilized in this earth for our people in the last days. This is what we'll pray for, and this is what our hope is in Christ, that he send forth his Holy Spirit, because soon, guess what? It's going to be hard to find a hospital who would treat us if you don't do certain things and all these others. We're going to need the Holy Spirit to guide us through this. And I'm praying that the Most High bring that spirit down on that day. This coming Friday, the day after tomorrow, gathering as one at AOL.com. So many people sent emails. Gathering as one at AOL.com. And for the first time in a long time, we're going to be taking souls to that water. Now, many have been baptized under Christ's name. And guess what? Throughout the whole earth, Africa, Middle East, China, South America, you name it, throughout the four corners. And we've actually put that off on the leaders of the churches to baptize in that name. But I believe the Most High is going to do something different, something strong in the earth. And he have compelled the elders, he've compelled me to go to the water. So I pray, I pray that the Most High hear the prayers of his servants, bring forth the spirit of unity, so that we're ready for what happens when the doors open. When I say the doors open, hell, the gates of hell has been released on the world, and they're not finished. They've opened the gates of Euphrates, and when that hell comes out, guess what? We'll be hedged, and it will not touch the Most High's elect. This coming Friday, the day after tomorrow, I'll be up early in the morning, praying and waiting in the water for the saints of the Almighty, Israelites and Gentiles, 12 and up, will be healed, will be heard from the heavens, and will receive the Holy Spirit. That's right. Now, let's talk about this. Elder Lawyer, how are you?
Shalom, Elder. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am blessed by the Almighty right now. I'm doing something a little different with my mixer not being, my mixer isn't getting seen through this computer right now, and I got to fix it. But say something, make sure they can hear you clearly.
Yes, sir. Shalom, family.
All right. Well, you sound good to me. You sound like you're a little back, but it's okay. We can still work with that. Okay. Elder Lawyer, the lesson I'm going into today, I haven't talked to you about it, but you're going to jump right in with no issue. I know you always do. Right?
Absolutely.
Luciferian weapons against mankind. Now, the reason why, because I want to go into this, is because I need a refresher. It seemed as if we were getting censored during the time of when they closed everything down, when they wanted a unified message to the world that would eventually, lead to many people making a decision, medical decisions or what have you. Now, as far as I'm concerned, each individual should be able to do whatever they would like to do. It's your body, your choice. But we have a biblical perspective, right? Our biblical perspective is to do what? To watch and see exactly what's going on from the technological side, to know how soon we are to the mark of the beast, which is what? A technical prophecy, right? Where techie or tech meets man, right? So it's upon us to let brothers and sisters know how Satan was going to implement and bring forth the mark of the beast. And I believe this is why during that time when they had that unified message, billboards, news, media, jobs, military, everything in the world was lockstep 24 hours a day. and they were seeking to silence myself and others. And there's a reason why. We have to talk about Luciferian weapons against mankind. Now, some people might ask, well, what do you mean Luciferian weapons? What do you mean by that? Well, science in of itself can be a good thing, right? Like, for instance, because some people might think that those who believe in the Bible are haters against science. Science was always good before Lucifer hijacked it and turned it into something else. So I'm not in disagreement of science. I'm in disagreement. And those who believe in the Bible are in disagreement with sorcery, with magic, with, that's right, astrology, witchcraft. Because these are the components that use science for evil. So what I'm dropping today, Elder Lawyer, if you will, I'm making it where brothers and sisters can distinguish between the two, delineate between the two, and then make a choice in understanding how to benefit from science and or how to avoid it. Right? Now, I'm going to give an example of when science was okay. All right? As far as I'm concerned, myself, when it comes to the Bible, when it comes to my personal belief in the Bible, Elder Lawyer, let's get the temple of God real quick. I have a responsibility to my God concerning my temple. My temple is what the Most High blessed me with. Mankind didn't bless me, okay? The government didn't give me this body. God did. Okay? Before there were governments, God existed. So yes, do I respect government? Of course. They were set up by God. Our God prophesied to the prophets concerning the empires, the very empire we live under. But we have to make a clear distinction. Our temples belong to God. These bodies, folks, is a gift from God. So I have a responsibility to my God concerning this body. Now you have some people who are into the craft and others who disrespect their temple. They'll mark up their temple. They'll scrape up their temple. They'll show self-hatred against their temple. Well, guess what? It's yours to destroy if you would like. But we have a God-given right to protect ours. Elder Lawyer, let's get that real quick. And I'm going to deal with the science piece in a moment. But let's get Corinthians real quick, if you will.
Yes, sir. 1 Corinthians 3:16.
Yeah, you sound kind of muffled. I don't know if your mic is hot.
Okay, one moment. All right, let me make an adjustment here.
It sounded better when you went low right there, yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll try to stay here.
Yeah.
All right, know ye not, this is 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you?
Know ye not that ye are the temple of God? So the Most High not only gave us our body for ourselves, he gave us these bodies as a what? That's right, as a conductor or connection to him. So that anytime he's ready, through our temple, our head, he could communicate. So he gave us the bodies for ourselves, but also We are what? An extension of the heavens. He gave us these so that he could connect with us also at any time. Okay? Sort of like a what? A conductor type of system, or a connection between the two. We are also an antenna. Okay? So these temples were made for us, but it was for our God to dwell in us. See? You see how that works? Read.
Yes, sir. Verse 17. If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are.
So if you defile the temple, now imagine if some science came that would have your temple tainted or changed. That's a defilement. Similar to what happened before the flood, when the celestial began to deal with the terrestrial to bring forth monsters or Nephilim. We are not supposed to alter what God created. That's a sense of defiling. Now, those who belong to Satan can make a choice to believe Satan. But those who believe in God has a religious right to say, you know what? I'm fine with what God made. I will not discourage your choice. We're not here to discourage your choice in believing in your God. And don't say, well, what do you mean your God? I believe in Jesus. Okay, well, you have to think about it. If there was a mandate or something that came out during crisis time, would he have a campaign with the disciples holding up signs saying, go follow what Caesar's saying? So think about that when you try to bring Christ into your decisions. Right? If Caesar made a proclamation, right? When it comes to things, when it comes to sorcery and all these other things, and Caesar told everyone, well, it's okay to follow what the witch doctors are saying, or the sorcerers at that time were saying. Would Christ say, well, you know what? Yeah, we created the sorcerers, so let's all get together. Let the disciples line up and follow Caesar. So this is how you can delineate. This is how you can separate those who claim they follow Christ. It's depending on what they do at their temple. And we're going to talk about that. Now, science in of itself. Is science bad? Well, no. One of the first lessons, Elder Lawyer, we go into week 1, the creation of the universe, how all things were made.
Right.
That's science on the highest level. But that's righteous science. Let me give an example. Let me read here real quick, Elder Lawyer. This is the book of Josephus, chapter 8. Right? The works of Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews, chapter 8, part 2. Listen to what it says about our father Abraham. For whereas the Egyptians were formerly addicted to different customs, right? And despised one another's sacred and accustomed rites, and were very angry one with another on that account. So they were confused concerning government, technology, science, all of that before our father, Abram, the top Chaldee, came into Egypt. Abram conferred with each of them, and confuting the reasonings they made use of, every one for their own practice, demonstrated that such reasonings were vain and void of truth, whereupon he was admired by them in those conferences as a very wise man and one of great sagacity. When he discoursed on any subject he undertook, and this not only in understanding it, but in persuading other men also to assent to him. He communicated to them, the Egyptians, arithmetic, and delivered to them the science of astronomy, not astrology. Astronomy is the science of what? The constellations, how the stars work, right? With the understanding of, that's right, the stars are made by God. They're angels. The course of the stars, which minister unto man, it gives us the time of our holy days, when to plant, when to harvest, when to worship. You name it, it's in astronomy. And it's a keeper of time. Well, guess what, folks? It was Abram who taught the Egyptians the keeping of time. For before Abram came into Egypt, they were unacquainted with those parts of learning, for that science come from the Chaldeans into Egypt, and from thence to the Greeks also. So the Greeks and Romans and all that who claim they got things from the Egyptians, well, the science they got from the Egyptians, I'm talking about the good science, came from us. The Shemites, the children of Abraham. Our father brought that in. Okay, so that's good science, right? That's good science, right? Now let's go real quick, right? Elder Lawyer, if you will. Let's go to Daniel 1 and 3.
Yes, sir. The book of Daniel, chapter 1, verse number 3.
Okay, let me pull it up so that they can see it, okay?
Yes, sir.
Daniel 1 and 3. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. The book of Daniel, chapter 1, verse 3. And the king spake to Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning and knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans.
The learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. So when it came to skillful science, there was no better skillful scientist than the children of Israel. But somewhere science went dark. It always goes dark, just like it did before the flood. When Lucifer comes in to use science to destroy. Okay? Even the tree of good and evil was one of the first science projects done by Lucifer. See, but they don't call him Lucifer in Jewish folklore or what you would call Jewish theology. They call him Samael, the serpent, the Satan, who came down and cross-spliced the Most High's creation to make a drug. The first drug was the tree of good and evil. It had elements to make one wise, but it comes with what? Adverse reactions. It comes with side effects. So it gives you what you want for a cost. Sounds familiar here? Does that sound familiar? There's nothing that God created has a negative effect on man. Genesis 1, when it states that the Most High made the herbs of the field and the trees and all that, and saw that it was good, there was no evil in God's creation. This is why he told Adam not to touch the tree of good and evil. That's science gone bad. Science gone bad. Now, the Kabbalists knows what I'm talking about is true. And they understand in order to be under the control that leads to the mark of the beast, one must be on some form of pharmacy. Huh? Let's talk about it. What's pharmacy? One might ask. Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
I'm speaking this in code as much as I can. But let's go to Galatians real quick.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the book of Galatians, the 5th chapter. Now, those who belong to Satan, who's following the works of Satan, it's going to go right over their head. They're going to do whatever Satan tells them to do. Well, it's your temple, and you're serving your God with your temple. But guess what? Either our God is going to work, that's right, in your temple, or the God of this world. There is no in between. Either way, you will be connected with. Listen to what I'm telling you. It's just that the way Satan does it is it's artificially through science. But either way, the mechanism is the same. Satan is looking to what? Disconnect mankind who are naturally connected to the heavens. He's seeking to disrupt that signal so that he's the one speaking with you, sitting in the temple of God as God. Well, sitting in the temple of God is sitting in the minds of the people. But he cannot do it unless he can convince you to take something. The old concept, the same game from the Garden of Eden. You must be under something in order for Satan to be in your temple. And then you'll be hearing about all this stuff that if you do this or take that, you'll have hallucinations. You may harm yourself. You may this. Well, who's speaking to you? God wouldn't tell you to harm yourself. God wouldn't tell you to have suicidal thoughts. Who's speaking to you? And how is he getting access? Listen to me and listen to me good. Elder Lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Galatians 5, verse 20. So now we understand that there's good science. And I don't want anyone to claim that we are against science.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The creation of the universe. How plants grow and how and how you irrigate land and do all these others. Even the freezing of ice is science. Put fire under a pot of water. That's science. So we use science every day. It's okay when it's used for good. But it's I'm going to tell you, but it's horrible when it's used for deception. If Adam and Eve knew what would happen to all of their children after that drug, they would have told Samuel, they would have told Satan, you take that fruit and shove it where the sun don't shine. So usually it's administered or it's promoted or marketed as something good. See? So this is why Satan don't have to change the game, because his marketing plan works. Only thing he have to do is convince you that it's safe or good. But anyone who believe in God and know God, trust in him. Right? Let's go to Galatians 5 real quick.
Yes, sir. Galatians chapter 5, verse number 20.
Okay, hold on. Let's start at 18. Start at 19, if you will, Elder Lawyer, okay? Right here.
Yes, sir. Verse number 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these.
Now listen to this, and this is why I wanted to pull this out first, Elder Lawyer. If you're caught up in one of these spirits, Satan lives in your mind. and now you become the child of the devil. When decisions are to be made, these are the people who are easily deceived. See? Now the works of the flesh are manifest. Now, if you're in the flesh, you are a child of the devil. He sits in your temple. Read.
Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies.
Come on.
Envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I've told you in the time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God.
So if these are they who will not inherit the kingdom of God, someone else is sitting in their temple. See? Now, let's go back, Elder Lawyer, to 5:20, idolatry. And you notice, folks, they're opening up the borders to nothing but idolaters. I need y'all to check this out, folks. Social warfare. All due respect, Asians worship Buddha, idols. The Hindus, they worship Brahma and many different gods. Even our brothers and sisters, they're letting over the borders. From Africa and Haiti, who deal with voodoo and witchcraft, hoodoo. And then the people they're letting over from the 10 tribes. And we love our 10 tribes, brothers and sisters. But many of them are Catholic. So they're not just letting any people over, folks. They're letting idolaters over and giving them what? Witchcraft positions. When I say witchcraft positions, they're giving them the position to administer. When you look at witchcraft in the Greek, right here, witchcraft. What is that? I'm going to blow it up so you all can see it. I'm going to blow this up. I'm going to blow it up for you. Huh? 1 second. I'm going to blow it up for you right here. Look at this, folks. What is that? Greek. 85331. Witchcraft. Pharmakeia. Does that look familiar? Pharmakeia. They did it. Lucifer did it at the tree of God, the tree of good and evil, and he's doing it again. This is why they were seeking to do what? Censor us when we were dropping what's going on in the earth prophetically. Look at this right here, folks. See what that say? How does Satan sit in the temple of our people? If they can convince our people to be controlled. And folks, this was well before our modern time. What is it? Come on. Everybody and their mother are under some level of control. And it's the other people, the idolaters, who are coming over, getting these positions. Are they not? Magic. It must be magic. To convince some people, Elder Lawyer, to do something, and automatically people out of nowhere are dropping suddenly. It must be some type of magic. Huh? Who knew that was in the Bible, folks? That's witchcraft. Huh? Look at it. Make sure you let your family know, because this is how they're going to move everyone to the next phase. They aren't done. They are not done. Revelations 2:9 and 3:9 tell us who's behind all of this. Who's hiring these idolaters to come over to do their dirty work. Elder Lawyer, here we go now.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah 14. We're going to speed it up now. Isaiah 14, let's go. And how art thou fallen from heaven, right? Let's get it.
All right.
4 and 12.
Yes, sir. The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse number 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Lucifer is the god of this world. Read.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
Read.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
I will be like God. Now, if God sits in the temple of his people, as it was eloquently conveyed through Paul, won't Satan use his science in an attempt to become God artificially in the earth? But he can only do it if we yield ourselves through him or to him through pharmakeia. Now, how do I know this? Because he could not get in the minds of Adam and Eve until Adam and Eve capitulated through the deception to take the fruit. It's always an option. But we must yield our power over voluntarily for Satan to take hold. Now, if you're sinning against God and against God's law, guess what? Satan's voice resonates in your temple, and it leads you to make a decision during a time of confusion. But if you have God and the Holy Spirit in your temple, there's always calm, no worry. You're not easily provoked. You're not spontaneously moved through any instance, understanding that God controls all. You're patient. See, the devil can use fear to bring mankind under subjection. See? So that's how Lucifer works. He cannot do anything without permission. But who permits him? Those who yield to his deception. And once that happens, he's in your mind, he's in your head as a what? A disruption between us and our God. He's the principality and power of the air. He used frequencies to disrupt the signal between heaven and our temple. Listen to what I'm showing you here. This may be one of the more simplest but resounding lessons that any of you will receive to date. Right? Now, so let's look at that word Lucifer in the Hebrew. Lucifer in the Hebrew here. Lucifer. Halal. That look a little bit like halal meat, ain't it? Halal. Who have that halal meat? Halal. Yeah, y'all know. The stone worshipers, the idolaters. In the sense of brightness, the morning star, he's one of many morning stars. Christ is a morning star. The morning stars sang before God each morning. Lucifer had that position until he was what? Hurled, dismissed from heaven. Lucifer. Right, Elder Lawyer? For those who don't remember, Elder Lawyer, nanoscience, a science publication. Nanoscience, luciferase-based biosensors in the era of the pandemic. His name is out there before the world while most people are what? Sleeping. Luciferase, biosensors. What is this? August 9th, 2021. Look at this. Luciferase-based biosensors have a wide range of applications and assays formats, including their relatively recent use in the study of viruses. Look at this. Split luciferase, bioluminescence, resonance, energy transfer, circularly permitted luciferase, cyclic luciferase, and dual luciferase systems have all been used to interrogate the structure and function of prominent viruses infecting humans, animals, and plants. The utility of these assays is demonstrated by numerous studies which have not only successfully characterized interactions between viral and host cell proteins, but have also used these systems to identify viral inhibitors. In the present pandemic, luciferase-based biosensors are already playing a critical role in the study of a corporate virus. So now, all of a sudden, Lucifer's name is being thrown around loosely in the midst of a time where everyone is wondering, should I do something? What is this? What's going on? Right? Now, some of this I can talk about here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a special Patreon next week where I'll pick up on this and show you where we are today on this with the luciferase. I went into it deeply during the midst of when they shut everything down, and they suspended my page for a couple of weeks. So I got to be very careful how to tread in bringing forth that information. I hope you all understand certain platforms won't allow me to bring forth and connect the dots for you, but I'm going to do the best I can. Bear with me. Bear with me. Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Bear with me here. You remember, Elder Lawyer, where we said during the time of the lockdowns when people weren't sure what to do. At this time, the government and others were still throwing out different alternatives for what the solutions would be for a virus. Remember that? And
yes, sir.
I said, once they begin to open things up, you're going to see unexplained aggression, criminality in everyday people. Not that we weren't used to seeing certain levels of suspicious behavior before, but it's going to be like never before. It's going to be like some, in everyday people that you would expect would operate normal, even they are losing it, right? I'd say that there will be random criminality above the norm, unexplained aggression, and all of that. And the people we thought was normal. As if someone flipped a switch. Right? Check this out. Who do we have before us? Who do we have before us here? James Giordano, PhD. Who is he? James Giordano, PhD, McPhail, is chief of Neurotics Studies Program. Scholar in residence, leads the sub-program in military medical ethics, and co-director of the Neil Pellegrino program in brain science, and global health law, and policy in the Pellegrino Center of Clinical Bioethics, and is the professor in the departments of neurology, biochemistry at Georgetown University Medical Center, Washington, D.C. Neuroscience, the study of the brain. Right? Also, you can study these things because, of course, enemies and others may come up that you may need science to ward them off through some level of biowarfare, especially if someone is an enemy of our country. Any warfare is good warfare to protect our citizens, right? Well, usually that's the package it's sold in. It's sold under. But he studies the brain. Neuroscience, right? Neurology. Neuroethics Studies Program. He's a scholar. Right? Now check this out. Check this out, folks. Y'all need to see this. Y'all need to see this. Elder Lawyer, I want you to hear this. You never heard it before, Elder Lawyer.
I can affect individuals' brain functions in a variety of...
Listen, Elder Lawyer. You listening?
Yes, sir.
I can affect individuals' brain functions in a variety of different ways, both positively and negatively, by engaging or disengaging nodes and networks of the brain that therefore affect their cognitions, emotions, and ultimately their behaviors. Something my colleague Jamie Canton likes to play with an awful lot is the idea of specialized neural operations. And here, once again, we're talking about the use of either drugs and or devices to modify the integrity of brain function that we realize can also modify individuals' perception of time and space. We talked earlier about how these may be used in interrogation scenarios, and this too may be used against key individuals to be able to modify their perception of time, their perception of what occurred and what did not, memory modification, etc. So what we're able to do here is infiltrate the brain space with nanoparticulate matter that aggregates in situ, on site in the brain, and does one of two things: either penetrates from the vascular space, gets in through the bloodstream, gets in through the nose, through the mucosa, or infiltrates the vascular space and clogs it. What is the result? What's called a nanoparticulate stroke, or a hemorrhagic diathesis, fancy word, for it's a predisposition to individuals having brain bleeds. What I'm doing is I'm using...
Brain bleeds? So there's science that can do brain bleed? Hold up. Is that a stroke? Hold up. I'm going to listen to it all the way through. Listen to this carefully, folks. Fair use.
I can affect individuals' brain functions in a variety of different ways, both positively and negatively, by engaging or disengaging nodes and networks of the brain that therefore affect their cognitions, emotions, and ultimately their behaviors. Something my colleague Jamie Canton likes to play with an awful lot is the idea of specialized neural operations. And here, once again, we're talking about the use of either drugs and or devices to modify the integrity of brain function that we realize can also modify...
So what do they need in order to execute this? What do they need?
Neural operations. And here, once again, we're talking about the use of either drugs and or devices to modify the integrity of brain function that we realize can also modify individuals' perception of time and space. We talked earlier about how these may be used in interrogation scenarios, and this too may be used against key individuals to be able to modify their perception of time, their perception of what occurred and what did not, memory modification, etc. So what we're able to do here is infiltrate the brain space with nanoparticulate matter that aggregates in situ, on site in the brain, and does one of two things: either penetrates from the vascular space, gets in through the bloodstream, gets in through the nose, through the mucosa, or infiltrates the vascular space and clogs it.
Get into the nose? Interesting. I wonder how they get into the nose. I wonder. I don't know. How does something go into the nose, and for what reason?
individuals to be able to modify their perception of time, their perception of what occurred and what did not, memory modification, etc. So what we're able to do here is infiltrate the brain space with nanoparticulate matter that aggregates in situ, on site in the brain. And does one of two things: either penetrates from the vascular space, gets in through the bloodstream, gets in through the nose, through the mucosa, or infiltrates the vascular space and clogs it. What is the result? What's called a nanoparticulate stroke, or a hemorrhagic diathesis, fancy word for it's a predisposition to individuals having brain bleeds. What I'm doing is I'm using...
Man, there's a lot of people coming down with brain bleeds and strokes all of a sudden. But, you know, I know I'm hearing about this, you know, going into North Philly and all that with people I grew up with. But, you know, it's all could be coincidental.
Using a dispersion methodology to be able to infect sentinel cases with a highly morbid condition. These individuals complain. Again, this is a central nervous system condition. So they're complaining of whatever the bug may do. It'll produce some cascade of neurological and neuropsychiatric signs and symptoms. What I've now done is I've got every individual who is diagnostically hypochondriacal, and I've got every individual who's the worried well flooding the public health system, banging on the door. The CDC comes back and says, nonsense, that's not real. I infiltrate that bug's nervous system and I control the way it moves. By controlling the way it moves, I control the way it goes. I control its wings pattern. I control where it hovers, where it flies, where it articulates. And what I can also do is I can then couple this to a very, very small scale set of either biosensors or cameras. And what I basically have here is a biodrone. I can go one step further, and I can also impregnate that individual organism, with a very small-scale weaponizable delivery mode. In other words, if I'm using a very, very small-scale bioweapon, such as a very potent organotoxin, or the delivery of a very small level of microbes that we know can either replicate and infect, or is genetically modified to have a very, very high morbidity effect, I can then utilize this not only as a reconnaissance drone, but also as an infiltrative weaponizable drone that can then deliver some payload.
Now, Elder Lawyer, there's a whole video that I have with this guy. And believe it or not, this is really the limit to what I can show right now based on the guidelines here. But all in all, what they are admitting at Georgetown through this neuroscience professor are the capabilities of bioweaponry. Right? But also the control to control one's mind, and even aneurysms and all that in the brain if they can get access through the nose, drugs, whatever the case might be. That's what he said. Right? And yeah, hey, this is why I listen to God, right? Anyway, coming off of that one, Elder Lawyer, I need you to check this out. You know me. I like to do my research, especially at a time where we were dealing with Moloch, the East Indian gods and goddesses of Thuggee, as well as Kali. But there's another god. And I'm going to tell you, when it comes to technology and worships and all that, India and America and Asia have always been intertwined. And it really goes back to the same gods they worship. Right? But I digress. Right here, Elder Lawyer, if you will. You know, I like to go get the research. United States patent, Molech. Now I'm going to give you the East Indian or the Hindi name of Molech, which is Melka. Right? Now this is what you would call a barbaric foreign entity from the outside of a person, right? Like Nephilim. But it's barbaric, it's foreign, it's an outsider seeking to get inside, is the definition of this. Something that's seeking to get inside of a person. Now, some may think this is something out of sci-fi. But only the Bible can break this down in understanding that they're spirits seeking host, right? When you break it down. But let's go back to the patent of Molech. I spoke about Moloch last week. What is, Elder Lawyer? I'm going to send this to you because, you know, I had to download it because usually when I start downloading stuff like this, in a month or two, this stuff no longer be on the internet. So I downloaded it. I'm going to make sure I send a copy to you also, Elder Lawyer. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is a 1976 patent, Malek. What is it? An apparatus and method for remotely monitoring and altering brain waves. Now, this is an actual patent. If y'all want to, y'all can take a snapshot of this patent and see, folks, this is a patent. It's not conspiracy theory. This is a patent. Someone patented this technology, right? Now, what is this technology? I wonder how all of what's out of here, listen, all what's out of here is going to eventually get up in here. How are they going to get control of people's minds? Or have they already? I mean, have the right cocktail came into play since 1976 that would allow this patent to come into full view. Apparatus for and method of sensing brain waves at a position remote from a subject whereby electromagnetic signals of different frequencies, Satan being the principality power of the air, are simultaneously transmitted to the brain of the subject in which the signals interfere with one another to yield a waveform, which is modified by the subject's brain waves. The interference waveform, which is representative of the brain wave activity, is retransmitted by the brain to a receiver where it is demodulated and amplified. The demodulated waveform is then displayed for visual viewing and routed to a computer for further processing and analysis. The demodulated waveform also can be used to produce compensating signal, which is transmitted back to the brain to effect a desired change in electrical activity thereon. So I believe we're going to hear a lot about mental illness and phenomenons of people operating outside of their normal selves. Because Malek isn't just a technology named through a patent. It connects to what? It connects to a spirit that if they use probably the right science, that spirit on the outside can now use a person as a host, and now they're subjected to mind control. Hypothetically. And I'm just giving a hypothetical based on the patent information I see before you. Now, whether someone is going to volunteer for this, right? Whether someone is going to volunteer for this, right? Right? Let's get some more. Whether they're going to volunteer for this and all that, I'm not going to deal with all that. But I do know that usually there must be a drug component in order for that link between the computers and science to have some level of effect. Right? And that's the most I can say with this right here. That's the most. There's more I would like to say, but I'm going to have to wait and speak to y'all on another platform. Now, outside of that, Elder Lawyer, check this out. U.S. Government Accountability Office, Science and Tech Spotlight Directed Energy Weapons. May 25th, 2023. Directed energy weapons such as lasers use energy fired at the speed of light. These weapons can produce force that ranges from deterrent to damaging to destructive. Many countries, including the United States, are researching their use. Researching it, huh? Because they use energy instead of bullets or missiles. Directed energy weapons could be less expensive per shot, have virtually unlimited firepower. However, the long-term health effects of these weapons are unclear. They also generally have a shorter range than conventional weapons, and weather conditions such as fog, storms can make certain directed energy weapons less effective. Now, one thing that's good about these, as far as they're concerned, is the accuracy. The fact that they can use lasers to do certain things, but still save the earth. The environment around it, the trees and all that, can be preserved. Which means, in certain areas, the rich can probably, who knows, their houses can be saved from all this other, a phenomenon, a catastrophe of biblical proportions can happen where the rich houses are all good, but the poor villages are utterly decimated, probably. Listen to this. Why this matters. Listen to this. Check this out. Directed DEW. Directed energy weapons use concentrated electromagnetic energy to combat enemy forces and assets. So you see, it says directed energy weapons. So these are accurate. So if they can just accurately go in and take out the areas they would like to be destroyed and conveniently leave everything else intact. It's directed. No one told me that. I mean, there's many things I would question when it comes to events now, knowing that this technology has been perfected according to the government sites out there. The question is not whether or not this technology has been perfected. The question is how should they use it and on who? Directed energy weapons use concentrated electromagnetic energy to combat enemy forces and assets. These weapons include high energy lasers and other high-powered electromagnetics, such as multimeter wave and high-power microwave weapons. Unlike weapons that fire bullets or missiles, DEWs can respond to a threat in different ways. For example, they can temporarily degrade electronics on a drone or physically destroy it. See? How does it work? Look at this. Each type of DEW uses a different region of the electromagnetic spectrum. This spectrum describes all kinds of light. And it's deep, folks, because they can shoot these weapons, right, to not destroy a building that has a certain color. Okay? They can aim it towards any color of the spectrum, right? But just say if they want to knock something out, but they want to keep a building, they can paint one building according to this structure, according to this paperwork here. They can paint one building blue, and that wave will go in and kill, that laser will go in and destroy everything in its sight, but that blue structure will stay erected unharmed, while everything else around it utterly destroyed. High energy lasers. Now, usually when I'm in the academy, I give my links and all that. I can't do that right now. But check this out. Deny, degrade, damage, destroy. Look at this. See? Now, in what instance that they deem that these particular weapons are necessary is vague at best. When do they release these energy weapons? I'm just going to put that out there, but the technology is here, right? Laser weaponry is here. Mind control technology, at least through suggestions and all that from the outside of a person, is here. Now, if only they can convince the people to actually be under some level of care so that that person or people can be utilized for the science. Now, I'm trying to, you see me, right now, I'm like a ninja right now, another lawyer. I'm like, I'm just straddling the line, right? But I'm filling in the blanks, but I'm gonna tie it all together real quick. And again, Elder Lawyer, what did I do? I made sure I got the original PDFs and downloaded it, because I know when I'm showing this stuff, Science and Tech Spotlight, May 22nd, that eventually you'll go on the site and it'll tell you this page no longer exists. So I went and not only looked at the research in the journals, I downloaded the actual PDF for safekeeping. Right? So this is not conspiracy theory. We're here. Now, some people might ask, Elder Lawyer, well, what can I do? We're outmanned. We're outgunned. Should I be afraid? Well, see, brothers and sisters, there is a rule for engagement. See, Satan just couldn't touch Job. There's rules for engagement. Let's go there real quick, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Let's go there. Understand, first and foremost, you must gain full power over your temple. Okay? Listen to me, and listen to me good, brothers and sisters. Satan used fear to put man under subjection. Why? Because he truly fears us. We were made on earth to judge him and the fallen ones. This is why they hate the patriarchy. Man is the image whom Satan believes is what? Insufficient to judge him. Mere man. So he have deceived man into what? Relegating our power over to him through sin. Listen to what I'm saying. No, they fear our God. They fear our Christ. So you have to understand how they have weaponized fear. And this is why the Bible says the fearful and the unbelieving will not enter the kingdom of heaven. You cannot enter the kingdom as a coward. You must be bold. Bold enough to secure and love the temple the Most High have given you and protect it from satanic science. That's your religious right. And guess what? The government never made anyone do anything. Anything people did was voluntary, because that's the rule. That's the rules of the laws of engagement too. That they can only destroy you if you volunteer. It's the old vampire adage. The vampire cannot do any harm to one unless you let him in your home. See, that's the rules of engagement. They have never made any pipe. I hear people say, well, I had to travel. I got to do this. I got to do that. Listen, save the excuses for your mama. Save the drama for your mama. Okay? There is no excuse. If you believe in God and trust in God, and you appreciate the Most High for the temple he gave you, you ought to protect it. Okay? Nah, I had to do this and I didn't. Nah, you were scared. And the Bible says the fearful will not make it into the kingdom of heaven. Because what you were afraid of, the consequences are way worse than what you were fearing. Elder Lawyer, let's get it real quick.
Yes, sir. We're in the book of Job, chapter 1, verse number 6.
Okay, let me go to the regular Bible so that they can see it here. 1 second. Job. So now we're going to deal with solution. Job 1, verse 6. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. The book of Job 1 and 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil?
Read.
Verse 9. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doth Job fear the Most High for naught? Hast not thou made an hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land.
Read.
But put forth now thine hand, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face.
Now, as y'all can see, brothers and sisters, Job had a hedge about him. Satan beheld Job on earth but could not touch him. The reason is why. All of us want to be in the place of Job, right? Job was a man who feared God and God only and followed his law. On top of following his law, the grace and hedge was extended to Job's family when Job prayed for his family, even though his family weren't as obedient as him. The Most High still protected his family. So that tells us what? Satan can only do things by permission. See? He can only do things, Satan can only do things by permission. Now, if you are subjected to sin, you're already under his power. He'll easily deceive you because you weren't connected with God at the time of crisis. If you were falling under one of those sins that we read about in Galatians, then you were so busy doing that you didn't hear the message when the Most High said, listen to me, not the Satan I've hurled to the earth. See? Let's go to Job 2 real quick, Elder Lawyer, if you will.
Yes, sir.
Job 2 and about 5. 2 and 4.
Chapter 2, verse number 5.
Read.
But put forth thine hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face.
So look what Satan is saying. Guess what? Satan be tempting God. He's the accuser of the brethren. Yeah, why don't you allow me to get to him? See? Why don't you allow me to get to him? I bet you he'll curse you then. Now, Job was blessed. He received 100-fold everything he lost, but still stood with God. And what did the first thing Satan do? Elder Lawyer, the first thing Satan did when he had an opportunity to go at Job, he cursed him with sickness. Blots and anything that we would call, disease. So we know that diseases are from the devil. His first opportunity on Job was to make him sick. So Satan does the same thing over and over again. So what will he use against God's people today? I need y'all to read between the lines. Right? The first thing he did was to attack Job's health. And then say, what the wife say? Curse him. curse your God to death. He wouldn't have allowed this to happen to you. If your God was the true God, he would not have allowed this to happen to you. And guess what that was? That was a battle between what you would call science on earth, where Satan is causing all these diseases, and faith. The wife was more so trusting on, we need to go somewhere else and fix this. This ain't good. Your God ain't listening. Let's listen to the God of this earth for healing. See? I need y'all to read here. Look into what I'm showing you here. Because what? The Bible tell you, Satan used the fear of death to put you into subjection. The bottom line is, it's through the Most High decree the issues of life and death. When it's time to go, it's our time to go anyway. Excuse my French. To hell if I'm going to capitulate to Satan and still end up losing my life anyway. And this is why God says, the Bible says, the fearful and the unbelieving will not make it into the kingdom. Because Christ was courageous all the way to the cross, all the way to the crucifix. He laid his life down. And here it is, Satan can convince us to destroy ourselves. Why? Because he really have no power outside of what you yield him. If you believe him and you make a choice to listen to him, that's when you've relegated your power to him. Because he don't have power otherwise. That's right, man. You're the image of God. And under God, you have more power than the devil. But he must convince you don't. So how do we win? How do we get through this? Now the lawyers, Titus 2 and 6, and then we'll open up the calls.
Yes, sir. Book of Titus, chapter 2, verse number 6.
Yeah.
Young men.
Hold up. Let me show them here. Let me get it here.
Yes, sir.
Read it.
Titus 2 and 6. Young men, likewise exhort to be sober-minded.
Exhort to be what?
Sober-minded.
Sober-minded. You cannot be subjected. You will not be subjected to the mind control unless you're on something. Unless you're on something where what? Satan can disrupt the communication between heaven and you. Why do you think when you go down Kensington and Allegheny, they could have been cleaned that up down there? But those people down there high on something, if guess what, folks? If breath is in them, they're going to be used for something. If they live, why do you think they could have been cleaned up those drugs in these drug-ridden areas, in these tent cities? Those people are going to be used for something. You can sleep on it if you want. They could have, why do you think all up in the inner cities, even in the rural area, not rural areas, in New Jersey and all that, more marijuana and drug dispensaries are popping up all over the place? Y'all better wake up, folks. The whole key is to go back natural. Even if you have to deal with withdrawals and speak to the doctors or whatever the case is, and let them know it's best not to be on something at the end of the day. Because it all links to, and it will be connected to leading people for the last choice, which is the mark of the beast. And guess what? If you failed the last test, there's a great chance you're going to fail the next one. You must be sober-minded because why? Same as the tree of good and evil. They're using the same tactics. Satan was able to take Adam's power through the fruit. Folks, that was the first drug. And the synagogue of Satan till this day is using the same tree of good and evil under different variations. They have the science. All that stuff that was in the tree, they utilize. And through that, it's Satan in your mind instead of God sitting in your temple. So they need this apparatus they have in place. They need people to always be on something and all that. They need that because this is their connection to you as a form of control. And if y'all don't believe me, let's hear it again from the doc. Okay. Chief of Neurotics Studies Program. If you don't believe me, listen to him. James Giordano. James Giordano. If you don't believe me, listen to him. Let me get him again. Let's get him again.
Methodology to be able to infect sentinel cases with a highly morbid condition. These individuals complain. Again, this is a central nervous system condition. So they're complaining of whatever the bug may do. It'll produce some cascade of neurological and neuropsychiatric signs and symptoms. I can affect individuals' brain functions in a variety of different ways, both positively and negatively, by engaging or disengaging nodes and networks of the brain that therefore affect their cognitions, emotions, and ultimately their behaviors. Something my colleague Jamie Canton likes to play with an awful lot is the idea of specialized neural operations. And here, once again, we're talking about the use of either drugs and or devices to modify the integrity of brain function that we realize can also modify individuals' perception of time and space. We talked earlier about how these may be used in interrogation scenarios, and this too may be used against key individuals to be able to modify their perception of time, their perception of what occurred and what did not, memory modification, etc. So what we're able to do here is infiltrate the brain space with nanoparticulate matter that aggregates in situ, on site in the brain, and does one of two things. Either penetrates from the vascular space, gets in through the bloodstream, gets in through the nose, through the mucosa, or infiltrates the vascular space and clogs it. What is the result? What's called a nanoparticulate stroke, or a hemorrhagic diathesis, fancy word, for it's a predisposition to individuals having brain bleeds. What I'm doing is I'm using a dispersion methodology to be able to infect sentinel cases with a highly morbid condition. These individuals complain. Again, this is a central nervous system condition. So they're complaining of whatever the bug may do. It'll produce some cascade of neurological and neuropsychiatric signs and symptoms. What I've now done is I've got every individual who is diagnostically hypochondriacal, and I've got every individual who's the worried well flooding the public health system, banging on the door. The CDC comes back and says, nonsense, that's not real. I infiltrate that bug's nervous system and I control the way it moves. By controlling the way it moves, I control the way it goes. I control its wings pattern. I control where it hovers, where it flies, where it articulates. And what I can also do is I can then couple this to a very, very small scale set of either biosensors or cameras. And what I basically have here is a biodrone. I can go one step further, and I can also impregnate that individual organism, with a very small-scale weaponizable delivery mode. In other words, if I'm using a very, very small-scale bioweapon, such as a very potent organotoxin, or the delivery of a very small level of microbes that we know can either replicate and infect, or is genetically modified to have a very, very high morbidity effect, I can then utilize this not only as a reconnaissance drone, but also as an infiltrative weaponizable drone that can then deliver some payload.
Now, Elder Lawyer, it's something deep, because I don't think it's a coincidence in the midst of what just happened with viruses and all these other things, right? In the midst of all that, we're now living in a time of mental illness in others, at the same time where the book of Revelation said that there will be a sting where the people will be stung like scorpions when the spirit is released from the spirit Euphrates. Spirits who will need hosts. But people are so powerful that demons cannot get in unless you invite them in or voluntarily follow the so-called science. So once you volunteer it in, you're now the host. Now, here's the problem, Elder Lawyer, and I'm checking this out. I'm looking at what they're doing with media. I'm looking at what they're doing with the music business and what they're propagating and all that when it comes to negative stereotypes. I can't help to think, even after all of when people were locked down and eventually they made choices and now they're releasing these people. I wonder if there's an affiliation with this erratic, crazy behavior and the choices they made to actually come outside. Are these people the same people we knew before the world was shut down? And I'm going to leave that question out there. Are these people the same? Or is something else operating in their minds, in their spirit, in their temple, that they're actually, I would say, quarreling with? So many people out there who made that choice, Elder Lawyer, are silent, but they know. They're telling people around them that they don't feel the same after making those choices. They can't explain it absolutely, but they're talking. I know some people talking to other people and saying, I don't know what happened, but after I made that choice, I'm different. And I'm not different for the better. Something is different with my body and something is going on in my mind. So the Bible states that we must be sober-minded. Sober-minded, because they need you on something to connect you to Lucifer. And that's my, quote unquote, that's my religious belief. I believe that my temple belongs to me and I have an obligation to take care of it. First, by following God's law, only putting in our body clean things according to God's law. I do not eat unclean things. Okay? I believe the Most High made herbs for meat, which means I believe for me. And I'm talking about people, my forefathers who lived well over 100 years old like Abraham. I believe what was good for him is good for me now. Okay? I believe that he made herbs for the healing. So food has more than what? More than a taste component to it. Food has a healing component to it if you choose the right food with the right herbs. That's my belief. That's how it was in the Bible. Our forefathers lived like that. And I don't believe until this modern day science, I don't believe until our current time that people have been this sick. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe that, Elder Lloyd, that others are making the correlation. Everyone is, you see, I mean, when I grew up, able-bodied elderly, they were walking without a cane, walking without a roller or a crutch. Everyone, it doesn't matter your color, people wheeling themselves around in wheelchairs. It wasn't like that when I was growing up. When I was growing up, you would see people 70, 60, 80, and they were still on the floor cutting the rug. Mm-hmm. I remember going to cabarets and grandma there and grandfather there, and they get up and they was getting it in. And that was just a few decades ago. And now you have young kids are tired and handicapped and people, let me tell you folks, they're making us believe that technology and modern health has progressed. We've regressed. When you go into science to a degree where you forget what God inherently had for us concerning health, that's when you begin to lose. And at that point, death is at the door. Now, I'm smart enough to understand. Is there good in science? Absolutely. If I have an acute situation, I know the professionals are in that hospital. I know that they have the tools to get me back to the point where I'll be okay. The difference between me and other people, I go into the hospital with the knowledge of what I need from that hospital or doctor to leave whole. See, that's the difference. I don't just trust blindly. I don't just trust blindly. You're not going to just peddle something to me just because somebody said, I got this new and I got a new this and new that, and why don't you try this? Nah. When I go into a hospital, I know exactly what need I have of that hospital. Same thing with a doctor. All due respect, you have your interest and I have mine. And guess what? It's my temple. And I used to argue with my doctor all the time. Right there on Broad and Dolphin, Dr. Parks. And he used to get frustrated with me all the time. Guess what? It was part of my package when I worked for the corporations, when I worked in the health field, Fortune 500 insurance company. And I had that doctor because he was someone in my neighborhood, 2 blocks away from where I lived at 15th and Diamond. And he used to argue with me. And I used to tell him, Mr. Parks, I'm a Hebrew. I believe in God's law. And if I was a Jewish man here telling you the same thing, you would be totally quiet. He used to get mad at me. He says, Rich, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. I tell you what. He says, I bet you I outlive you. I'll never forget he said that. I bet you I outlive you. I'm trusting my education. Unfortunately, I love him, but guess what? He didn't outlive me. I mourned when he passed because I loved him. I think sometimes he lived for the verbal jousting him and I did. But when I went to the doctor's office, I made sure that I only came for what I came for. My blood work, this, that, and the other. And he always tried to figure out if something else was wrong with me. I'm like, listen, man, you can take all that stuff. I'm good. You sure? One day he looked at my eyes, told me, man, your eyes are protruding. I'm like, Doc, I've always been known for having big eyes, sir. I came out my mother looking around. I'm like, my eyes was this size last visit. Doc, are you okay? And he told me, look, no, I'm like, nah, you're not gonna write me enough. No. So no, I know what you're in the business of, but I'm not your business. I'm God's business. I'm here to get a checkup to make sure my blood work is right and all that. And whatever I need, that's it. Right? One nurse came out and had this machine on me. You hear this story all the time, Elder Lawyer. She looking at me like I'm about to hold a place hostage or something. I'm looking at, she's looking at me. Your blood pressure's through the roof. I'm like, ma'am, please back off me. You're going to get a stroke. I'm like, man, go get Doc for me. That's another thing. You're not coming off as a Gestapo. You're not coming off as an authority when I walk in your hospital. I don't roll like that. God is the authority. This temple belongs to me. Excuse me, ma'am, go get Doc. She goes get Dr. Parks. Dr. Parks say, here you go again. And I'm like, listen, sir. She says, my blood pressure is through the roof. Okay. When she came in the room, sweating and all this other, my blood pressure probably went up 10 points, just her pressing on me like that. I'm like, listen, sir, do me a favor. Can you go get that old blood pressure machine you used to use with the little rubber thing? Can you grab that for me, Doc? He's like, okay. He says, oh, so what you thinking? So he went to get that little thing, that pump thing, to prove me wrong. He wrapped it, Elder Lawyer, around my arm and pressed it. Let the air out. Y'all know how it goes. Blood pressure, and I'm going to say it North Philly style. Blood pressure was normal like a mug. Regular blood pressure. And he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him. So he gonna look over at that machine over there. I'm like, listen, that's between you and the machine. I got to get back to work. I'm out of here. Right? I got something to do. Then I go out to the reception area where she is, and I said, ma'am, how many people did you panic into getting on something with that electronic machine over there? You should have, she had a smart mouth. Yeah, well, whatever, da. And I'm like, our people don't stand a chance. I shook my head. I'm like, we don't even stand. I'm like, you know how many people in the neighborhood that I grew up with are no longer here because of that some of that same stuff there, getting that information like that. So at the end of the day, you're responsible for your temple. At the end of the day, doctors are needed, absolutely. But at the end of the day, if you're pushing up daisies, that guess what? You're just one of many. At the end of the day, my religious right is what? To be responsible for my temple. God gave me this temple. And he said that if you defile the temple, you shall be destroyed. And I believe there's a lot of defiling going on. Elder Lawyer, anything before we open up the line?
No, sir. No, sir. Go straight to the cause.
All right. And we're going to end up early tonight because I have to travel in preparation for the baptism tomorrow. So I'm going to try to make this a early night, folks, so work with me. Let's see here. Wake up, folks, wake up. Hope you all can connect the dots. The next thing will be the mark of the beast. So keep your eyes on the zombies that are walking around on stuff, folks. That's all I have to say. I believe they will be utilized in due time.
Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
All right.
Unmuted.
All right, 720 area code. I hope you all are prayed up, and don't forget we will have a brand new academy with new lessons, a spiritual boot camp. All right. And for those who don't know, here's the topics: man's purpose, God's wisdom intended for man. We must get what? We must get in control and understand that Satan is at war with man. They're masking that as the evil patriarchy. Okay? And they have aligned a social army against us. Okay? Women who are misandrous against men. Men who are feminine, who don't love, who hate masculine men. Okay? They've all aligned them together. Women who choose other women because they hate men. They've aligned a whole group as Satan's soldiers to attack the patriarchy. Okay? The patriarchy is man. Okay? There's nothing wrong with the patriarchy. This is how we got here. And the reason why they're focusing on attacking the patriarchy is because what? The spirit of masculinity is God himself. The purpose of a woman will be a lesson, the Holy Spirit, how to apply the law of Moses through Christ, and the judgment for rebellion. All of the extra biblical text, as well as the Bible, on what? The judgment in hell. That and more for the next Hebrew and Bible Academy, and I hope you all are part of it. Go to historytimes.org. All right, let's go down the line. Trish has a comment. Trish.
Shalom, Elder. How are you today?
I'm blessed by the Almighty. Yourself?
Absolutely blessed by the best, and the higher is his name. I just wanted to give a quick comment on what you've been speaking about as far as being in sin and being unhealthy in your mind and allowing the enemy to kind of take over. I had just a real quick testimony. When all the lockdown and all that stuff happened, I was in a place of negativity, adultery, smoking, chronic, all that stuff. And it was my brother who introduced me to GOCC and pretty much saved my life. My brother told me he could see me going down a dark path. He could see how negative I was and how things were progressing. And he introduced me to GOCC, and I'm telling you, Elder, Elder Lawyer, everything about GOCC saved my life. I stopped doing everything I was doing. Doing detox now to get that stuff out of my system, and life hasn't been better ever in my whole 47 years of being alive. I haven't felt this good. And just to hear you speak about, and I just finished reading Job a couple days ago, so just to hear you speak about how you have to be sober-minded to accept the Most High and to have his presence with you, I know this for a fact. I have family members who have posted online that, oh God, why all these problems happening to me? Why is all this medical stuff going wrong with me? Well, it's what you put in. If you put the enemy and all his foods and all his extracurricular activities into your system, you allow him to take over. You give him the opportunity to have your vessel and do what he will with it. But if you don't ever give the Most High an opportunity to get in, how can you expect him to help you?
You're right.
So it's just an amazing. This was an amazing teaching this evening. It touched on everything that I've been going through for the last couple years, and I'm telling you, I'm living testimony that if you let the enemy in, he's gonna take over. You give him that opening and let him do what he's gonna do, he's gonna do it. But you can't turn around and blame the Most High when things ain't going right if you're continuing the same activity that, that's not good for your vessel. So I wanted to put that out there. I want to say thank you, Sawadah, to you, GOCC. Everything that you guys are doing is amazing, and I can't wait for the next academy.
Thank you, sister. Bless you. I really appreciate you, Tris. Welcome to the family.
Yes,
we
sir.
care for you. So, hey,
Absolutely.
just what your brother did for you, try to do for the rest of your family. If it be the Most High's will, they'll come through too, okay?
Yes, sir, I am, and I will. And thank
right.
you so much, Elder.
You bless.
Thank you. God bless.
You. All right. All right. Right on. Bless you, sister. What a testimony. 910 area code, then 317. Okay, 910. I'll get with you in a moment. Make sure that I'm not playing in the background, okay? It's bad radio. 317 area code. Please make sure, brothers and sisters, that you at least cut it off in the background while you're on the phone. I know sometimes I pop in from nowhere without preparation, so I'm giving you an opportunity. Cheryl, I'm about to bring you in. And after that, Tracy, okay? Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Shalom, Elder Ricard.
Shalom. The floor is yours.
First thing I want to say is all praises to the Most High God. I've been dealing with a question, asking God about the last 2 weeks. And I've been saying, God, I need you to give me an answer. Tomorrow, I am scheduled to go see my doctor at 12 o'clock. And I was going in for some depression medicine. Well, this is my answer, to trust him. He has just healed me from so many things, from sarcoidosis. I had a stroke during the COVID time. I just thought, God, have you forgot about me? I got this horrible autoimmune, which he told me over and over, I will deliver you through, but not from. I'm totally healed. I had a stroke. I was in the hospital 5 days. I walked out. Even the hospital and the nurses and stuff could not believe it. So I just want to tell you, thank you, and again, thank the Most High first for letting me know tomorrow I will not be getting on any depression medicine.
Oh, praises be to the Most High. And sister, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give someone your phone number who could help you, with some of what you're dealing with, okay? If you don't mind.
Please do. No, please do. And I emailed the church last week, and you had Tony from another part of Florida. I'm in Florida, Clearwater, and I can't reach him now. So,
okay. Yeah. But I'm going to have a sister call you. You can let her know what you're dealing with, and then, she's an expert in a lot of these areas you're talking about. And I'm sure, because, there's other options outside of some of the stuff out there. Because one thing about issues, you can't mask them. You can't mask your issues. When you come off of whatever it is, you're still dealing with the same reality. And believe it or not, being depressed and going through things, let me tell you, that's a natural feeling that one must overcome to get to the next stage in life. Sometimes, the most time, don't you know, when I lost my house and all, I was depressed. The last thing I needed was something to make me think, to the contrary. It motivated me to get out of that depression.
Right.
So it's how you aim.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be motivated through it. And then what happens? Now you've taken the next step in life to understand how to overcome. So many times we seek to mask things in Christ. No, let's deal with all the ugly. Let's deal with all that. All the ugly that makes it, I don't like myself and I'm always down on myself. Deal with it all. Because then you got to go to the Most High, and then the Most High is going to answer, well, you're going through this because you should be doing this. Or you should do that. Now he's guiding you through and you're better for it. But as long as you stay in one place and try to mask it, where's the advance? Where is the next step in life? Right? And so many times we want to pop things and just to what? To avoid the reality that we still live under. So we've all gone through depressed moments. We've all gone through things. But hey, our forefathers, think about this. Our forefathers, sisters, went through chattel slavery. Think about being separated from your family. Being a cell, being taken from a strange land. And guess what? There was nothing they could have given us back then as far as science is concerned to mask that reality. They went through it. And because they went through it, we're here. Okay? So the reality is we have to honor who we are. We have to honor the strength of our forefathers who went through things without masking it. Right?
Okay. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm glad you called tonight, and we're going to make sure we lift you up in prayer. And also, I'm going to get somebody to call you so that you can, you can get to where you used to be, your bubbly self. How about that?
Right. And the more I study and falling in love with the Most High, you know, the enemy always brings up this one. And, you know, anytime something has you hopeless, you know, that's from the pit of hell. So, yes, have them reach out to me.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. During this phone call, don't you feel more encouraged? Do you feel depressed right now?
Not a bit.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, not a bit.
There you go. So it's where you put your mind to, right? So don't think on the negative and just stay encouraged, sister. All right?
I will, and I'm continuously praying for my church, GOCC.
Well, thank you. And we feel it. We appreciate it. Shalom.
Okay. Shalom.
All right. Tracy has a comment.
Hi. I came in, I think 40 minutes after you started. Did you guys talk about the Eastern Occurring encephalitis virus?
Oh, no. We don't really go into viruses in particular. I would say we're not going to be on long. Just go back and see the whole broadcast. You'll understand. We were just talking about, in general, some of the mind control, mind weapons that are out there, or I would say more so, connection between the senses of people's mind and the God of this world, hallucinations and all these others, and what tools they make so that Satan can now sit in people's mind and guide those who belong to him. Also, we also went into the directive energy weapons that the government has patented. So just wait till this is done. Look at it back. This particular broadcast has been a wealth of information, but all in all, we're going to trust in the Most High, right? And allow those who don't trust the Most High to choose their God and be taken with the devices of the devil. That's it in a nutshell. Okay?
Okay. I'd like to talk about the weapons, on how they can get into a non-sober mind or a mind control. There's it's called Eastern Equine encephalitis virus. It's already killed people, and
listen. Well, sister, I don't go into details with names like that because that's more disturbing some of the guidelines of this page. So if you have to see you have to understand how I was straddling the fence while breaking this down. So wait for us to make sure you write this down and wait for Patreon to explain what you're going to explain. Okay?
Okay. All right. Bye.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's just that you have to realize what I have to do to keep this page. And unfortunately, sister, I apologize. It's just that I know you came in late, so I understand. You know, I'm very careful on protecting this page. Okay, so I apologize. I wasn't able to receive what you wanted to bring forth for this page, but do it on Patreon. I'd be more than happy to hear it. 270 area code. Tyler.
Hello?
Yes, Tyler. How are you? Good evening.
Shalom, Elder. This is Tyler. I've called you before. I had a question.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay. Your question.
Okay. I didn't know if it hung up. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm here.
I mean, this might sound kind of weird, but I mean, you've been talking a lot about Neuralink and different, things about how they're trying to advertise this in our dreams and, stuff like that. I've been having this problem. I quit cigarettes over a year ago, but in my dreams, it's like I don't even know it. And I know you said God communicates to us through our dreams, but so does Satan. What's going on here? Because this is really just, it's been going on for months now. I quit over a year ago, and it's just really bothering me to wake up every morning and it's like, come on, man, what's going on?
So are you saying that the nicotine addiction is calling you even when you dream to wake up and smoke a cigarette?
I'm not even craving a cigarette. That's the crazy thing about it. But it's like when I go to sleep, it's like I never quit.
I don't understand. When you go to sleep, you never quit. What do you mean? You're smoking while asleep? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like in my dreams, I'm still sucking down cigarettes, and then I wake up, and it's like, wait a minute.
Oh,
Why do
okay.
I keep having these dreams? And they're not necessarily nightmares. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's more annoying than anything else, but I still want it to stop.
Yeah, that's more a subconscious thing that happens. Like whatever we do, it is in life. Sometimes subconsciously it comes in the dream, or it could be something trying to pull you back into smoking. Rebuke it.
I don't know. I mean, I've been sucking them down for 26 years before I quit, and I don't even have the slightest urge to. I couldn't afford it anyway. Things are $10 a pack now. But either way, it's just like, man, how do I stop this? This is annoying. And you've talked so much about dreams in the academy and just so many different lessons. And it's maybe he could help me with this.
Yeah, but there's another thing too, right? Our dreams sometimes have past memories. So if you've been doing something for 26 years, and that was in your memory as a regular routine, you're going to experience some of those memories.
Right.
You're going to experience some of those memories.
Okay, so
that just come with it. It's your memory.
It's
Yeah.
just something I got to deal with.
Yeah, it's your memory.
It's just something I got to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't trying to go too off. You were talking kind of about, dreams and stuff like that on this bright. I was like, man, I figure I could ask him. This isn't too irrelevant, but
No, it ain't irrelevant.
So it's just something I got to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, get up and ask the Most High to rid you of the thoughts or whatever the case might be. But the reality is, it's part of your past, part of your reality. And it tell you in Ecclesiastes,
my life,
yeah, you're not going to escape your past memories. Sometimes you're reminded so that when you wake up, you can thank the Most High, for what he delivered you from, what you overcame. You understand? So sometimes you get a memory of your past self or the old man to thank the Most High for the man you become. Right? The negative thoughts, as long as we're in this dark world, those negative thoughts will always be in the earth. It's just the way it is. Okay?
I appreciate you talking with me about this. I didn't know if you were just going to be like, what is he calling about this for or what? But
No.
I just got to deal with this one. Eventually it'll go away. Okay. I thank you so much, Elder. Thank you.
You're welcome. And yeah, it'll go away eventually. But thank you. Just don't succumb to it. I'll tell you that. And then what'll happen is it usually catches one in the most vulnerable moment where your emotions, where now you have unstable emotions or something happens or a crisis happens and that dream pops up. It usually says, okay, one cigarette isn't going to hurt you. See, that's what you have to be.
Oh no, I know. If I take one puff, I'm done.
Okay.
Trust me, I know.
I'm just saying, but don't forget.
I could get over drugs easy, and if the cigarettes was the main drug, let me tell you.
Yeah, but no, what I'm telling you is because it tells us, even Christ tells us about the spirit that leave us, the spirit who watches on the outside of us, and if that spirit cannot enter another person, it watches the original host. Excuse me. And then it waits for re-entry. So the whole deal is you have to watch. You okay now, but in a point of crisis or a scenario where something serious happens where you have unstable emotions, that's when that thought is going to arise. It's going to be right in front of you. And then the challenge begins. Okay? So I'm just letting you know right now, when it's there, usually it will present itself in the future with a crisis or when you are emotionally unstable. So just hold on in there, and when you're faced with that, just pray. Go into the bathroom and recite the Lord's Prayer. Okay?
Appreciate you, Elder. Thank
I appreciate
you.
you. Bless you. All right.
All right, sure.
Shalom, Tyler, my brother, from the same mother. Elizabeth has a comment.
Hello?
Yes, Elizabeth, you have a comment.
Oh, Shalom, Elder. My husband and I, with my son, we've been listening to GOCC for a while, and the whole church has been very edifying. All the information that you and the other elders have given out is just so great. I've been a part of the academy for a while. I think I only missed one.
Thank you.
And we've been trying to get baptized forever. Seems like 2 years. And we hoping to participate in the upcoming one, but nobody has sent us any information on it. So we're pretty much flapping in the breeze. So
Okay.
I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Where you from? You're not flapping in the breeze. I'm gonna help you. Where you from?
We're in North Carolina.
You're in North Carolina. You can't get down to D.C. In 2 days?
We can get down there in D.C. in 2 days, Elder, but the thing is we don't know where anything is. We haven't received any kind of information.
Okay, well.
Town, that's the only thing we know is the town. That's it.
Okay, don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of that right now. Hold on while you're on the phone. Right? Hold on. Let's see. Okay, Elizabeth and husband, right?
And my son.
Okay, Deacon Shawan will call you tonight.
Thank you, Elder.
All right? He'll call you tonight. Done deal. I'll see you Friday.
Shalom.
Shalom. There you go. Well, that's quick business. Let's go down the line. Geraldine. We got Terry, then Geraldine, then Deborah. Terry.
Hello?
Yes, how you doing, Terry?
All right. I was trying to get to Washington to be part of the baptism, but I still haven't received anything. And besides that, I was most of the people I tried to help my own family members, they're not listening. Even though they did what they did, you try to help them to clean their system out, but they ain't trying to hear. They avoid you.
Well, ain't nothing you can do about that.
I know.
Ain't nothing you can do about it. Hey, the kingdom is for few.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you have to save yourself through this, and I mean, if they don't listen now, these same people will probably take the mark of the beast when it's time. Unfortunately, so.
Well, luckily I found out a few did take it, like you said, they had a smile on your face and say they didn't, but come to find out, all that cancer mess, what if they going to take chemotherapy for? Right around the same time. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah. You know, they smiling in our face saying they ain't did this, ain't did that. But then you hear something about, oh, I got to go take chemotherapy. I got to take chemotherapy. What do you take chemotherapy for? And lucky, if I would have never heard that, I would have never knew.
Well, the reality is people serve who they serve, right? I'm to a point where I don't get frustrated on others' choices. It's their temple. Let them do what they want to do with it. You want to get baptized and have your temple cleansed, ready for the kingdom. That's where we come in, right? So you said you're trying to get there this Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have someone call you.
I'm going email. My phone won't even let you call y'all or anything. I gotta switch services. I can't even call you. I'm on my niece's phone. I can't call you.
Okay. So if he call you, no, let me in real quick. So if I give him your phone number, this number you just called the broadcast through, he'll be able to contact you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He'll call you tonight also.
All right.
See you Friday.
Okay. Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you. Bless you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but even Christ says, listen, the kingdom is for a few. Let the dead bury the dead. Here's the reality. It's their temple. And listen, I don't try to frustrate others' choices. I just make sure their choices won't affect me. Right? I mean, Satan has his too. Right? Terry, I just had Terry. I'm almost done. Geraldine. I have two more after that, which concludes our broadcast for this evening. Geraldine has a question. How are you, Geraldine?
Oh, hi. I'm doing fine. Shalom, Elder.
Shalom, how are you?
And I'm fine. I want to say I am so thankful of the Most High that He guided me into your direction. That I have learned so much since I've been watching y'all since 2015.
Praise the Most High.
Yes, and He has truly been a blessing for me. But I want to ask something concerning. I have land in Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'm in Michigan, and I didn't know what to do because it's been sitting there for 10 years. It's 3 different land areas in Oklahoma. Me and my family has, and I didn't know what to do. Should I try to do something there or just leave it now since all this going on?
Well, let me ask. It depends on the position. It depends on the scenario. Like, for instance, is there taxes on it? Do you own it with other people? What are the dynamics of it? Right? Is it rural? Does it have infrastructure already built on it? So there's a lot of questions. Is it yours or is the property with you and other people?
It's my family members on there, too.
Yeah, so you have to
it's all our land.
Yeah, but you have to get the paperwork together because no sooner as the balls start rolling, then you have people coming out of
paperwork. I have plenty of it.
No, what I'm saying is,
plenty.
If you get the ball rolling and someone has equal part to the land, it won't take long before people come in and start claiming something. So you have to work out how this ownership works with what you'll do planning for the property. All right? You may want to work at paying other family members for their part in it so you don't have a conflict in the future. So what I'll do is...
But what if they don't want to be bothered with it at all? They never did.
Yeah, if they don't want to be bothered with it at all, then you go through the legalities to have them sign it over to you.
Oh, okay. The guy, what's the name?
Yeah, you don't want to start doing things before that happens because now there'll be a conflict.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All right.
So I you said go to a what now?
No, all you have to do is go to a lawyer who deal with real estate and let them know with the deed and say, I want to be the sole owner of this, and find out what paperwork is needed for those who are in it with you, that they can sign over their stake in the property to you. And usually,
Okay.
sometimes it'll come with the price, but at least you'll understand what that is and know what to do from that point.
Okay, I really appreciate that. Get some information
All right?
about that.
Okay?
And I wanted to ask you one more thing.
Go on.
I have went to your church when y'all had sent me, to the church. Me and my daughter and granddaughter in Michigan.
Detroit, yeah.
And we didn't want to get in the water because they were saying it was contaminated. So I didn't know what else to do because of that, and I wanted to get baptized again. I've been baptized before, but I wanted to do it, through y'all, with the right name.
Okay, you've been baptized in a prior church or in our church?
Yes, in a regular, a church, not from y'all.
Okay.
You all.
So are you coming
Yeah,
Friday?
but I
Are you
want to
coming
do it.
Friday or no?
Huh?
We're doing a baptism Friday, and you're more than welcome to come.
Oh, okay, Friday.
Friday.
Okay. Okay, you said Friday, and where would it be at?
It'll be in Washington, D.C. If you would like the contact, I can have Deacon Shawan call you.
Okay.
Or
I know that's
or
quite a way.
or because this is so short of a notice, you can still speak to Elder Dell over there in Detroit, and we can arrange a baptism later for you. That's fine. Either way.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you.
All right.
You're
Okay.
welcome to the body. Shalom. Deborah has a comment.
Shalom, elders. How are you?
Hold on 1 second, Deborah. Yes, go on. Hi, I'm doing well. Yourself, Deborah. Thanks for asking.
Okay. So I'm going to see if I can kind of cut to the chase because I think I'm the last one. During the time, I was baptized around in 2020, around that time. I'm going to just say that time.
Okay.
I was taking care of an aunt that was 97 years old. So, and I was telling her son, it was just something that they were pounding about her needing to go to Triple J's party early in the morning. The party we talking about?
Yeah, the Jim Jones juice. I got you.
Yeah. So I mean, this was a winter morning with a 97-year-old woman, and she's always been very healthy. Nothing. So I begged him, and it was a dispute about it. Or whatever. This was a drive-by party. You come in all or whatever. You want to get Triple J's. Going on there. So and opening the door to 97-year-old little woman's arm, if you will. But anyway, it wasn't, I bet, 4 months after that. She's always been very healthy. Always been very healthy. The next thing I know, to answer the question of today, or the next thing because I was taking care of her, there was things just started happening. They just started happening. This is my 97, the last aunt, 97, that old. And different things started to take place. It's not only her, I see it all around. So the answer to that question, maybe for the ones that didn't know, but for the ones that did, it's a difference there. I never fell for it. From the time it started, I just thought, okay, so here's another can there kicking down the road. And I just never, and not only that, I was, going through some issues where I was taking 3 blood pressure medications a day. During that time and stuff, I went cold turkey. I've not taken any medicine since.
And how's your health now?
My health is fine or whatever because I grew up and all. My mother and father were master gardeners. Okay, so, I contend with the earth. My fruits, my vegetables. If I feel like my blood pressure is elevating a little bit, I'll go in there and chop up a bowl of celery. And I can feel it, you can feel the earth, you can feel what God works through. He gave you everything.
Okay.
Or whatever, you got to know how to work with it. You got to know, and at the same time, of course, that's just one component. And then, of course, you have to be obedient. You have to be, you have to stick to the word. You got to do what you got to do in this world. It's just not one thing. You're not going to get it back. So the answer to this question tonight, or what you were talking about, no, it's not going to happen. You say or whatever. It doesn't even make any sense. If I was somebody, that I'm going to the doctor put me on antidepressants, then I turn around or whatever. I'm not really complying by anything biblical. Then I turn around on top of that and whatever, and I feel like I want to do recreational drugs. Okay? Does that make sense to you? Okay, so, I mean, I'm dealing with people and through my family like that, okay, or whatever, where nothing matters anymore. So I just feel myself separating from them. I can't do it. I can't, or whatever. It was just like you said not too long ago. At some point, or whatever, the dead has to bury the dead.
Yep, unfortunately. Satan is taking his, and we're choosing the kingdom. So listen, I'm not trying to convince anyone from their choices anymore. It's their temple. It's our position to sound the trumpet and let everyone know what the Most High is doing. And we can take you to we can go to the water, but you got to come to the water too. We in the water, but you got to come down in and speak to the Most High and make that agreement. At the end of the day, Satan is taking his, and the Most High is opening the kingdom for his, who belong to him. So that's what, at the bottom line, people are choosing the God they serve. Right?
They're choosing the God they serve, And I just was listening to that, and you were just talking to someone, and you said it last week. You can keep on talking, you talk and talk. No.
Is it?
Because it starts to drain you, it's just like your energy is zapped. It's like,
Yeah.
Get out the Most High seat.
Yeah.
Get out the driver's seat.
Well, sister, I got to get to the next call. Yeah, it's enough to raise your pressure, right?
Okay,
but but don't listen. Don't let them.
I don't want to elevate my pressure.
Yeah, just don't worry about it.
If the deacon could call me because I tried to get through for directions and information about Friday, and I'm having a lot of trouble.
Okay.
I'm having a lot of trouble.
Okay, one moment.
So I need someone.
One moment. I'm gonna put you. I'm gonna type your number here right now. All right, Deborah. Look like I'll see you Fridays. I'm putting your number there. He said he's gonna call. All right.
Yes.
All right. See you Friday. Shalom.
All right, shalom.
All right. All right. Only a few more. Saba has a comment. Saba.
My beloved brother, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. My brother from the same mother. How you doing?
Man, peace be upon you, man. I have two things I want to bring. One, I want to tell a wonderful story about when I first met your wife, and I have a scripture I want to bring out for Ephesians 2:2. So just a quick story. Obviously, I started following you guys back in 2009, and I had moved in 2014 from Indianapolis to Columbus, Ohio, because I wanted to teach the word and be a part of the body and things of that nature. And you baptized me. I believe, it was Feast of Trumpets. And so we had like a little eating afterward. And I have been following you for a long time, but you always in the back of your head, you wonder, are people real? Are they real? So after we kind of got done eating a little bit, everybody's kind of sitting listening to music, and I always just raised that you always speak to a man's wife. So I just wanted to kind of tell your wife hi. So I said, hey, man, how you doing? Just wanted to, thank you for all you do, for supporting her and everything like that. And she was so kind, so courteous. But when she was talking to me, she moved, and I seen that she had this beautiful dress on, but she had these tennis shoes on. And she said the most profound thing to me about these shoes, Elder. I said, man, if you don't mind me asking, why do you have the shoes on? She said, brother, because if something goes down, I'm ready to make a move right now. I said, wow. What it told me was like, listen, this is not a game for us. This is real life. We're putting our life on the line. This isn't no Christian church. We're popping up, getting money and things like that. It showed me the realness and confirmation of my own spirit that I am following the right leader. They're real. They're here. And it was a very profound moment. So if you would, please give my love and some flowers to your wife for that wonderful experience and confirming for my spirit that I was following the right teachers back in 2015. So I want to kind of publicly give her her flowers, sir.
Well, thank you. Thank you, sir, and bless you.
Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you.
All right. Now I want to bring up.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir.
No, go on. The floor is yours.
Okay. I want to bring a quick scripture. So it's about Satan. We were talking about the powers of Satan, and I think one of the most powerful scriptures is something in Ephesians 2:2. I want to read something real quick. It's called Satan, the Master Broadcaster. In Ephesians 2:2, Satan is called the prince of the power of the air, working in the inside the minds of people. I could never have understood this until, one, I had understood how radio and television sounds and pictures are transmitted through the air, and two, I had learned the truth about the human spirit and the human brain. If your radio set is on the proper radio wavelength or television set is tuned to the proper channel, the broadcaster's message comes through clearly. Satan has prince the power of the air broadcast, not in words, sounds, or pictures, but in attitudes, moods, and impulses. For example, we read in Ezra 1:1, when King Cyrus of Persia issued a proclamation to send a colony of Jews back to Jerusalem to build the second temple, he was moved to do so because God stirred up his human spirit. In other words, put the suggestion and impulse in his mind, and the king acted upon it. In the same manner, Satan moves on the human spirit within people to move them in attitudes of envy, jealousy, resentment, impatience, anger, bitterness, and strife. People have no realization of the tremendous power of Satan. The human spirit within each human is automatically tuned to Satan's wavelength. It seems as if Satan has supercharged the air of the entire earth with attitudes of self-centeredness and vanity. And this is so profound, because I think that sometimes, when I think about the music industry, and I think about all the images that we're constantly being bombarded with things to move our spirit, to move our attitudes, to get us to be self-centered, to get us to be vanity, to only worry about the things of today instead of worrying about the things of the kingdom. And as always, brother, I thank you for the time. May the Most High bless you. Bless all the deacons. Shalom.
Well, thank you, brother. A resounding statement and comment, and I really appreciate you, my brother. Bless you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Boy, you never know what would stand out through an interaction, boy. But all praises, you never know, you never know, exactly what would resonate or stand with the person. You'll never know. So it's deep that someone having sneakers on, whatever. Hey, but a lasting moment. All right. Let's see. We're coming down to the end. 901 area code.
Oh, greetings. Shalom.
Shalom.
What an awesome opportunity as always to speak with you, Elder. I'm just calling with a comment. Boy, that last brother was awesome. I love everything he said. But
he brought it.
Yeah, he brought it. He brought it. I just wanted to call and just thank you and tell you how much the Feast of Trumpets service that aired on Saturday. I live too far away to come and attend anything right now. I'm still looking forward to the Memphis GOCC where I can be accountable and in person and serve.
It's coming.
But I was calling to listen. Sir?
I say it's coming, Memphis. It's coming.
Oh, yeah, I'm holding to it. To it. But I wanted to tell you that one of the things that struck me that you said on Saturday, and it really is kind of in the flow of what this broadcast was about, and when you said that God made man in His image, but Satan is trying to make man into his image, and that just really stuck with me because the first thing that came to mind was the Baphomet. That's kind of the image of what Satan is all about.
Yeah, the spirit of androgyny.
Androgyny, exactly.
Androgyny and cross-genderism. Yeah, that's the image of Satan.
Yeah, that was profound to me because I was like, man, if nobody can see that America is spiritual Sodom and Egypt, I don't know I just don't know why it's not obvious. But I just wanted to thank you for your leadership of things that you said, really for the last 2 Sabbaths. But I really enjoyed the Feast of Trumpets, and it was a blessing, and you all are a blessing.
Thank
I
you.
just wanted you to know that we appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. All praises.
Continue prayers for you, because I know that you need people holding your arms up sometimes when you don't know they are, and we are holding your arms up as armor bearers in prayer.
Thank you. Hey, I need it too. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Bless you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
You too. Have a blessed night. Oh yeah, the enemy tried to attack, but hey, I grew up, I had to, grow up around the corner. Every summer out there, 15th and Market, they got a boxing ring out there. We used to put on the glove, and you learn how to dip them. You learn how to dip them. So you dodge, you dip, and then whenever you can get, a few in, you unload, right? 323 area code. So the enemy tried to throw his fiery darts, but the Most High is great. His spirit endures. 323 area code.
Shalom.
Shalom. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, taking it one day at a time. Well, can't hear anything. Hello?
Oh no, your name?
Mika.
Talk to us. You're live. Talk. Come on. Let's go.
Okay, well, the reason I called is because I would like to receive prayer for my 2 daughters and my husband. And because my daughter, she's going to the hospital tonight, and she has some things going on that she needs to check on to make sure she's okay. So I'd like to have prayer for them. And I also wanted to know, what day do we fast? What exact day is it?
Okay. Hold on. What is your daughter's name?
Well, one daughter name is Emily, Emily.
I'm talking about the one you said going to the hospital. The one need prayer.
Oh. Okay, well, both of them need prayer, and the other one, her name is Shug, Shoug.
Okay. How old is she?
And for my husband, Shug is 25.
Okay. All right, one moment. Let me give you the date, okay?
Okay.
The Day of Atonement, right? Is September 11th, sundown.
Okay.
September the 11th, sundown. You got it?
Okay, I'll make sure I write that down.
Okay, September the 11th, sundown, which will be Monday sundown to Tuesday sundown. September the 11th, sundown to Tuesday sundown, where we'll fast. Okay, we'll fast for the one day as a body and ask the Most High to bring forth the unification of the faith. This a lot going to happen in this 7th month. We're going to come out of this 7th month. The Most High is going to do something great in this church from this month on. You can see. I think the world will behold something different, right? I believe that he's gonna unify us in one spirit. All negativity behind us, and the unification of the faith is going to allow the Holy Spirit to use this church. And I truly believe it's time. So, right? So the Day of Atonement is September the 11th, sundown to Tuesday sundown. Monday sundown to Tuesday sundown, 11th through the 12th, okay?
Okay.
And we will lift
And
up your
one more
family in
thing.
prayer. Go on.
Okay, just before I get off, I just wanted to tell you that lesson about the UFOs, that was a very great lesson.
What you say?
The lesson about the UFOs, that was a great lesson.
Oh, you were there for the UFOs in the academy last Sunday.
Yes.
All praises. Yes, we're not alone. We've never been alone. The aliens are the gods the Gentile serves. There is no aliens. It's the fallen gods. They're here. And soon, them and their children, the Nephilim, are going to come from under their layers. The world is going to see who's been running this earth the whole time. It's coming. Right? It's time for us to prep up, get ready spiritually. We're going to need spiritual intervention when they come out those gates. So, it's coming. The final war. Thank you, sister.
I'll pray.
All right. Bless you. All right. And we're going to send up prayers for your daughters, all right? Okay, we're almost done. 876 area code, 876 area code. 857 area code.
Hello.
Shalom. Floor is yours.
Good evening, elders. My name is Shirley Andre. I sent out a couple of emails requesting the address for the baptism. I have not received anything as of yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. One moment.
And,
Can you be reached on the number you called on here?
Not recently. I'm just calling right now just to ensure that I receive the address for the location.
Okay, because I don't have the address with me, but if this number you called on is if you can be reached on this number you called on, I can have Deacon Shawan call you tonight.
Okay, please.
All right.
I'm calling from. Okay. I'm calling from Massachusetts.
Hold on.
Boston, Massachusetts, and I mentioned that in the email.
Okay, hold on. 1 second here, Shawan. And let me have your name again, sister. I'm sorry. What's your name?
Shirley Andre.
Shirley. Okay.
It's SHERLEY.
All right. He'll call you tonight, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hope to see you there Friday.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Good evening.
We're coming down on the end of this. 916 area code and 478. .478 area code.
Hello, Elder.
Hello. How are you? Shalom.
It's been a while since I called in. This is Sister Jackson. I've been baptized member of the Atlanta body.
Okay.
I'm the retired nurse that joined TLCC Atlanta 2020.
Oh.
2020.
Oh, in the midst of the
academy.
In the midst of the pandemic.
Yeah. In the very midst of it. A lot of things have happened since then. I just want to make a long story short. I'm in the academy. I'm on Patreon, all of that.
Thank you.
I listen to you whenever I can. I will watch you over and over. This is my thing. In this last academy, the one we're in now, we have one more.
Yeah.
Since the first week, my mom got sick, and I buried her 2 weeks ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I have been going through so much with her. I mean, like, January, my sister took her, and she had, you know what, February, stuff started happening, and it happened on and on and on and on up until 2 weeks ago when I buried her.
So your
But
sister,
I've still been in the
so
academy.
your sister was used as a conduit to move your mother into doing something that you were against.
Yes, because she lived with me. But my sister came and got her to take her shopping, and shopping went to that. But I want people to know that everything you guys say is true. You need to listen. And I'm a retired nurse. But it's true what they're doing. And I know it's going to be so many people with blinders on because I can't get to none of my family, none of my friends.
Let me ask you this:
in my neighborhood.
sister? Let me ask you this: do your sister feel culpable at all? Like in her, do she believe
She had a
that?
nervous breakdown. She had a nervous breakdown after my mom passed.
No, I ain't ask you about the breakdown. I'm talking about her hand in doing something that was probably, from your standpoint, unnecessary. Do she relate? Is she accountable at all for her doing something that wasn't necessary from your view?
She wasn't accountable. She was rebellious to the fact that I had my mom not even going through our biblical. I had her.
No, I'm talking about, sister. I'm talking about after your mother. Follow me real quick. After your mother passed, and after you told your sister what not to do, is she relating her actions?
No, I told her what not to do before she took her.
Yeah, but after your mother passed is what I'm asking you. Do your sister feel accountable that she had a hand in that?
Like I say, it was 2 weeks ago, and she's still in that state of depression.
So she do relate what she did. She feel that that had something to do with losing your mother.
That. Right.
Now she understands.
I believe she does. I believe she regrets it. I believe that's why she had the breakdown. But it's true. I mean, stuff was happening so fast, the doctors couldn't keep up with it. 3 different hospitals, 2 different rehabs. She was bedbound, and I had to see about her day and night for the last 6 weeks.
And she was living with you, your mother, and she was fine before your sister took her to do that.
Exactly. I had her on herbal teas. She was not eating anything that wasn't in the Word. Her vital signs were good. Everything was good, Elder. I tell you, she was good. No insulin, no diabetes, no blood pressure medicines. She was doing excellent.
Well, I hope you are witnessing to somebody right now. But I pray that listen. You have my deepest sympathy, and may the Most High receive your mother in paradise. I mean, this world is about. She probably, a lot of, the way I looked at it, I lost my mother, and I don't want my mother to go through what this world is about to become. So I'm like, Mom, wait on me. I'm gonna finish my work here, and I'll see her at the last trump. But all in all, she's in the hands of the Almighty. Forgive your sister.
And I believe that.
Yeah, forgive. Listen, forgive your sister.
When your mom passed.
Forgive your sister, and put it in the hand of the Almighty. Okay?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. I truly have.
Yeah, the whole world is under a stupor right now. And you have my deepest condolences. Let me tell you, sister, I can relate. There's nothing I can express when it comes to a certain emotion I've never felt before. But there's something special about Mama. I don't have to tell you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell. But will the baptism of the 200 be televised?
Will it be what?
Live.
You know what? if I have access to some type of, because we're going to be near a beach of water, I'm going to see if we could actually have that live. I believe that this is one of those monumentous scenarios that I believe everyone should be a part of. Even if you can't be there, I would like the world to see our people come to Christ Friday. So it'll be early in the morning, but nonetheless, I'll try to stream it. I'll try my best.
Yeah, if you could stream it, record it, play it later, I would love to see it.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay?
Shalom, and y'all stay blessed.
Shalom, and again, you have my deepest condolences, my deepest sympathies. All right?
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Shalom.
Shalom.
Boy, same thing when you go into the hospital. They find the most irrational person to make decisions in your family. Have mercy on us. 843 area code. Last call. 843. Well, that concludes our broadcast for this evening. I must get ready to get on the road early in the morning to make my way into the DMV area. May the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up, sin not, and understand that this world is under a Luciferian guidance, as well as, hey, watch out for the bioweapons, and understand that pharmacy is witchcraft. Pharmacy is witchcraft. And for those who don't know, you don't have to ask anybody. Go directly to the Bible, Galatians 5, verse 20. I'm going to end it here. Galatians 5, verse 20. These are the works of the devil. Okay? These are the works of the devil. Now, the works of the flesh or of the devil are manifest: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, like those idolaters they let into the country now, witchcraft, hatreds, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies. That means someone is trying to do what? Divide the body. Envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like of that which I tell you before, as I have told you in the past, that they which do such things shall not enter or inherit the kingdom of God. That's right, folks. And when you look right here at witchcraft, you wouldn't guess what that is. You couldn't guess, huh? Witchcraft. What is it? Let me show you. Witchcraft is pharmacy. Witchcraft is medication, it says here. Pharmacy. Right? Witchcraft is what? Pharmacy. Deception. Magic. So, the temple belongs to you. But before it belonged to you, it belonged to God. Treat it as such. Find out what God wants for you. Follow the law. Find out what's clean and unclean. And do not, above all, defile your temple. Okay? With that, I'm going to say shalom. May the Most High be with you. Thank you, Elder Lawyer. I'll see you soon.
Yes, sir.
Get some rest. Stay prayed up. Sin not. And keep in mind the Most High is calling back the children of Israel. That's right. We're in Christ. Yes, right, folks. We are the children of Israel. Our bloodline is Israel. Okay, it's not a religion. In the spirit of Christ, and we are back. If you want to know who's behind all of this, who's the Wizard of Oz, pulling the strings and aiming all of this pharmacy and all this at us to destroy our people, well, go to Revelation 2 and 9 and Revelation 3 and 9. All right, and Christ will let you know exactly who are those who are behind the veil as the Wizard of Oz. See you all and have a blessed evening. Shalom.
The Arabs and Africans told us.
A good point.
Together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. Gather us in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, from the Israel, Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, the highest gathering in Israel. Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Nepali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, our highest gathering Israel.
Let me do one more. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Separate ways, both did some hurtful things, but it's not over. You know that we both care. So can we forgive and forget? I need you here. Remember the ups and downs, the trials we've been through. See, there is no one on this earth who can replace you, my brother. Life is too short, don't hold no grudges. You are my blood. We must forgive and love each other, no matter what life throws at us. We must keep brotherly love. Searched high and low, where did you go? Pick up your phone. Oh brother, do you hear me calling? See, I apologize. This bond will never die. Oh. Remember the ups and downs and trials we've been through. So I'll keep on, darling. I'll go till I get through to you, brother. So life is too short, don't hold no grudges. You is my love. We must forgive and love each other, no matter